everybody's going to need life insurance anyway. Why not go to the guy who's actually curious about their life story and what they're trying to accomplish? It's the listening and the curiosity that makes this a winning strategy for you. Oh,
Hey, Evan.
how you doing, George?
Good. In between appointments, out of town. So I'm doing this from the comfort of my car.
What do you got? How can I help?
Well, I'm part of the movement makers, just trying to increase my touches within my community and make a bigger difference. So, trying to help people see their value and help them take responsibility. I sell life insurance and investments, but my passion is helping people have money when they need it most, and that's at times of, unfortunately, premature death, disability. On the good side, retirement, or sending their kids to college or weddings. I've been doing it for 25 years and having a great time, but just wanting to do more.
And within the Cincinnati area?
Well, within a couple hour drive, so I have clients within 200 miles of Cincinnati. Unless they pick up and move, and so I have clients in 15 other states, but that's not where I'm marketing.
And is it how can you use social to drum up more business?
I'm using social media as a way to dig, for people to dig deeper, to know more about me, mm-hmm. and what do I stand for. So I post things about, what's important to me, what I think is important to my clients, to be a resource, like a resource librarian, and at the same time try to be entertaining.
From the vibe I'm getting from you, I think you could be a great show host, but not like
Larry King.
Not quite. No, like what I would love is that, let me float this idea by you. You get people who are in your community, and you basically interview them and have them tell their stories.
Yeah.
And it could be somebody who is of prominence, maybe the mayor or counselor, or, those people are fairly accessible, but it could even just be a teacher, a salesman, a military veteran, just people in the community, in your area, like people of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And you ask them insightful questions about their life, about their experience, about what wealth looks like to them, what balance might look like for them, all the things that you have figured out for yourself, but you want to help spread the message on, and then you become the guy for the local community who's sharing people's stories. And a lot of times these people have never been interviewed by anybody ever.
Right. Let me think about that. That's a pretty neat idea, because that's the one thing that I do. I love to meet new people and find out about their stories and connect with them on what makes them special. But this would be a great way to spread my curiosity for others, and allow them to learn.
It's just a vibe you're putting off. I think you'd be great at it. I think you would make somebody feel super comfortable. I think you'd ask questions that other people maybe have never asked them before. I think it would lead to really insightful conversations. And it also becomes fantastic lead gen for you, in that inevitably it's going to come down to, people want to know more about you. Well, what do you do, George?
Right.
Like, I do insurance. Because nobody wants to talk to a life insurance guy.
Right. But I want to talk to everybody.
Yeah, well, but if you're the thing is, everybody needs life insurance. It's just one of the things that they don't want to think about.
Correct. I've been doing it for so long. I'm well aware that they don't want to talk about it, but I try to make it comfortable and fun.
So you can make it comfortable and fun before you even get into the topic of life insurance, because you're asking them about their life and what they hold as valuable to them. And even without getting to a sales pitch, you'll just get business because of having insightful and deep and meaningful conversations with people, and they'll tell their friends as well, without you ever having to say, and by the way, buy my life insurance.
Right.
It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
And you get known as the guy in the Cincinnati area who's doing this.
And do these via Instagram
It could be
or
Instagram.
Facebook?
It could be something as simple as this, like an Instagram Live.
Okay.
You can go to your area. You can go to Instagram. But is this your main account? Because you only have like 2 posts or something on here.
Well, I got hacked recently, so I erased everything.
Okay.
And my contacts, somebody was posing as me wanting to talk about grant money. So
Okay.
I
Scammers.
revised that.
You can look at your. You can go search, like click the little magnifying glass, search,
Yes.
and one of the tabs at the top will be location. And so you can see based on like even where you are right now. You're in Kentucky, in
Right.
this area right now, who's posting to Instagram. And you can just message them and say, hey, I run a show where I interview people from our community and tell their story. And you're posting some interesting stuff. I'd love to learn what your story is and maybe inspire some people online through it too.
Okay. That's good because that's something that I'm real interested in, just hearing stories and having deep conversations.
I think you would crush it. I mean, I have a daily show. Like this is my daily show at 2:00 Eastern, right? You could have a daily show that's 25 minutes that you line people up, and if you have a team, you can also have your assistant, potentially reach out and line people up, or you're just in your car and you can do video messages to people. You see them, you search local, you see somebody in Cincinnati, you like what they posted. You say, hey, Julie, this is George. I run this show about profiling local Cincinnatians.
Yeah, or wherever I'm at, right? Interesting people that are making a difference.
Your story looks cool. Like, say something genuine. This is why I think you would really crush it, because you're going to say something that's authentic, that's really going to hit them to say, oh, he saw me. Like, he noticed me. He sees something in me that other people don't see. I think it was look at somebody's picture, look at their post, what they post on Instagram, and already know what you want to ask them, and you see something that other people don't see. And so you can pull out that story.
Right.
And inevitably they're going to go and look at your profile and see what you do.
Right. Or it might be a second career.
Well, you're mixing your careers, right?
Right.
People will everybody's going to need life insurance anyway. Why not go to the guy who's actually curious about their life story and what they're trying to accomplish?
I've not heard that in the last 25 years, very many people that are taking that approach. So it doesn't have to just be in Cincinnati.
Sure. If you can sell, like if somebody from New York, or California or wherever, if you could service them to your level of standard of working with the client without having to go see them,
right?
Then this show could be for anybody.
Right.
Then if you're fast forwarding, into the future, you could just be the guy who's doing all the interviews and talking to people, and then you've got a team now under you who's actually
doing the work,
doing all the work, because now you can go national instead of just being. But even within Cincinnati's it's a big area, right? You're not in like some tiny little city.
No, there's 3 million people in Greater Cincinnati.
And if you even just expanding, like you look at Kentucky and you look at, Ohio is giant.
Right.
Columbus is right next door. Lots of people. Cleveland a little bit further away, but still lots of people. Yep. So just Ohio, you don't have to think national. Just Cincinnati and Ohio is giant. I didn't know that. I mean, I'm Canadian. I didn't know any of this until last year when I came on my tour and we passed through all 3 spots. I think it's a real model for you, and you become known as that guy. And especially if it's people who know people,
right?
Who might. I want people to say, "Man, I had this amazing conversation with this guy George. He sells life insurance, but he's got this show where he's profiling local people, and they share it with their friends to right." So who are those people who make? Who are your natural referral partners? Like, who have you found you got the biggest deal flow through?
Well, it really comes from funny. I call people that I read about that I say, hey, I read about you. You're really interesting. I'd like to meet you. Can I take you to lunch and get to know you? And that's how over the last 25 years I've gotten my clients, by just calling up and to finding about, hey, I see that you're making this type of glassware. How did you get started? Can I get a tour of your factory? And more playing to my curiosity. And then like, and what do you do for a living? Oh, and then we talk about that. And that's how I've got my biggest clients. And then they refer me to people. Really what you're saying, doing on a show,
Yeah.
I've done that one-to-one. I just met with a gentleman that is an executive at a local university. And he was laughing. How did I meet you 15 years ago? And I said, well, I met you in a coffee room, and I called you up and said I wanted to hear your story. So now, 15 years later.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely putting up that vibe. I didn't know that backstory before.
No, I know. I don't have that printed anywhere. I was like, feel like I'm at a carnival now, and you're reading my palm.
We're doing mind reading here. You're putting up that vibe. I think you would crush it. Now instead of being able to just go and meet somebody, once a week because you're calling them and finding them in newspapers or whatever, you could do this every single day.
Yeah.
With somebody new from the comfort of your own car in between apartments or home or whatever. And the fact that you can hyper target it to Instagram, you can find people who are already posting, so you don't have to convince them to get on Instagram, right? They're already posting some kind of content.
Right.
Something that intrigues you about them. Any entrepreneur is going to be interested because free exposure.
Right. Well, we want to tell our story.
Yeah, why not? I mean, it's not, a teacher or somebody else may not be as willing, but it's still super flattering. How many times has a teacher been interviewed for anything?
Right.
It's just not something that people go to. So you could be the guy who does that. But definitely for entrepreneurs, that's an easy slam dunk. Anybody who is an entrepreneur who's posting about their company, first off, like nobody's interacting with their posts. So you could leave a comment and you'll be the guy. And then asking them to be on your show. Even if only like 5 people watch it, doesn't matter. It's that you're holding space for them.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And you're building a relationship. It's an excuse to build the relationship.
Right. And that's what I do now when I call you and say, hey, I'd love the opportunity to meet you. Let me take you out for coffee, or let's have lunch. I want to learn about what makes you different. Yeah. Tell me your unique abilities. And they're
now you're
really?
Giving them, I mean, now you're giving them something, right? Now it's like, we'll be on my show. I want to give you promotion more than just I want to take you out for coffee or lunch.
Right.
If you run an ad campaign, like $5 a day against that video, you'll get a couple thousand people watch that episode.
Really?
Yeah. So now that small business owner has a great conversation with you, gets a ton of exposure through your show. Even if only, like right now, we got 26 people watching live, more people watching on the replay. And if I wanted to, I could run an ad against this to then send thousands of people to watch it.
Okay.
And then it gives you a follow-up to say, hey, remember that episode we did 8 days ago? 3,000 people watched that. It's a excuse for an extra touch point and to check in and see how they're doing.
That sounds good.
I think that's your strategy. You just then execute it.
Yeah, I will put this to work this week. So it sounds fun, because somebody just the other day said, "Oh, I think you'd be great as a podcaster," and I'm like, I don't like my voice. They said, "Oh, it's unique. It'll set you apart." So I'm like, this is 2 in 1 week. So I'm going to move forward with it and see what happens.
Yeah, I would play with it. Like, I don't know how much time you have until your next meeting, but you're on Instagram already now.
Right.
Just go to the Explore, click the little magnifying glass, type in, go to location at the top, and just see where people are posting around your area.
Okay.
And look at something that looks interesting. Like, use the same intuition and feel that you've used for 2+ decades to build this business of how you reach out to people.
Right.
And now we're just making it inside of digital and Instagram instead of, newspapers and magazine articles.
Right. No,
Yeah.
that's great. It's very insightful. I like it.
I'm so excited. It's such an easy win for you. It's great. It's amazing.
Yeah. Well,
Anything else?
No, I'm just excited to try it. I never thought of that, other than maybe 20 years ago. I thought, I love to ask questions. I could be the next Larry King, Jokingly, because I ask hundreds of questions. So, and that's all I thought he ever did on his little show was ask questions. So, and listen.
That's it. It's the listening and the curiosity that makes this a winning strategy for you.
Yes.
You actually care about the answer and the person who's in front of you.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I found that
Most people don't.
And that's just hard to believe.
Well, but this is now your superpower.
Right.
You're gonna hold space for somebody to, maybe for the first time ever, be heard. You're gonna listen to them better than their husband or wife listens to them. And you're creating this now amazing connection, which will lead to, you could do this if you sold life insurance or you sold water bottles.
Right.
Like your strength is in the relationship. So, it's for you. It's such an easy win.
If you want to see another awesome one-on-one I did with an entrepreneur just like you, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.